All right, welcome back to season 7 of our show, and today it's oxtails. We're doing them up southern style with a couple of country southern sides. Let's show you how to get it done. Check these oxtails out. These are beautiful. I love using the entire tail. These are the upper part of the tail. This is the lower part. Every part gives a tremendous amount of flavor, and the lower parts give sort of their own flavor, and the top give their flavor as well too, but I think you have to mix the entire batch up. We got some vegetables here: cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, some peppers, and 2 beautiful cured pork chops. That's what we're using today. We're using up these nice cured pork chops, and we're going to get to that in just a second. Let's season up. So here's our tails: onion powder, garlic powder, paprika in here, touch of sage, a little oregano, and make the spices yours. So we're gonna get a lot on here. Just like that. Salt. Now these are going in the pressure cooker because these take hours to cook down. And the pressure cooker is gonna offer a lot of flavor and save a lot of time. So basically, almost 2 hours in the pressure cooker they're gonna take. And if I was cooking these down without the pressure cooker, they take about 4. It's a long time. I'm gonna start to mix these up. So you wanna use a basket like this to mix these up. This way you have the room. And especially these small ones, if you're using a nice basket like this, you can just roll them around right in there. But the key to a good oxtail is do not skimp on the seasoning, as you'll see. So we're gonna go off on the seasoning. So just keep going. And you need a real good amount on here. I'm gonna go a little bit more salt because we're going in the pressure cooker, and the pressure cooker uses water. Now we're gonna use that water afterwards because these are gonna make a stock. And then we're gonna make a homemade barbecue sauce. That's right, a beautiful homemade barbecue sauce to put on here. And then afterwards, when we get them somewhat tender, we're gonna finish these off on the smoker. And these are gonna be beautiful. See that? These guys love spice. Just takes it all in. You see, I didn't even roll them around too much, and they absorbed every bit of the spice that's in here. See that? Look at that. It's all gone. Watch this. If I put a little bit in the corner there, watch how it just loves it. It eats it right up. Look at this. It's only 1 oxtail. It loves the spice. See that? It's all gone. Amazing, right? And I'm just gonna hit them again. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people would think, oh, well, that's way too much. Well, guess what? You want flavor? Bring it. All right, there we go. It's even gonna eat all that up. So the oxtail will definitely take in the spice. Now with the pressure cooker, the nice part is you don't have to brown these on the stove. You can get away with not browning them because we're hitting them with the smoke. If I wasn't hitting them with the smoke, I might brown them up if I'm gonna cook these inside. But since I'm giving them a lot of that smoke and hitting them with some oak, you won't need that. All right, here we go. And the pressure cooker we go. I got a little water in the bottom there just to start me off. If you plug your pressure cookers in, they're automatically gonna set themselves to warm. So put a little water in the bottom, this way you don't burn the bottom of your pressure cooker. And you'll be A-okay. All right, so we got all those in there. Now right here I have an onion. That's going in here too. Now the way I chop this up, I just chopped it in half. Leave the skins and everything on, so they go right in. Just like that. I'm gonna go in with a couple of bay leaves. And now I'm gonna go up to my max fill line with water. Now some would say you don't need to bring that much water to the game. But no, you gotta fill this thing up because these things get real greasy. And you wanna make sure you got a clean pressure cooker. You don't want this to clog up your pressure cooker because there's a lot of fat in here. And a lot of this fat in here we're gonna discard of, we're not even gonna use. So we use a little bit to make the barbecue sauce, but we're not gonna use all of it. And that's it. So I'm gonna lock this on for about an hour and a half, and then we're gonna check on them. And if they're still not done, we'll go a little bit further, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we got those oxtails cooking. Let's show you the first side dish. So we're making a very simplistic dish. I always try to make simplistic dishes for you guys, especially using vegetables, because a lot of people don't know how to work with vegetables. So we're using a cauliflower today, Brussels sprouts, and a couple of peppers. Now we are putting the meat in here. I got some smoked pork chops in here. That's what we're putting in here. Those are cured and smoked by me. So we're using those pork chops today. We're gonna cut the meat off the bone and show you a beautiful recipe. So here's our cauliflower. First thing we're gonna do is just take off the flowers in here. Hence, cauliflower. So let's just get these flowers off. I'm gonna cut around it. Now I want the flowers whole in here. So we're just gonna cut around in a circle and pop out the core. So here's my core. Let's get that out. And like I said, just go around in a circle. Let me show you this, what I'm doing here. And just keep going around until you start to get the flowers free. See that? It's very easy. And just keep going around. So here we go. Cut the core out, and there you have it. So that's your first move. And you don't want to leave them this big, so you can just chop them down again. So let's just start chopping these. I'm going to chop this in half. Now I like these in big bites like this, so I feel I'm going to leave these. Maybe I'll go half of them. So like that, I'll leave them like that. That's a nice bite. And that's what we're going to do. So that's our first part. Here's the Brussels sprouts. So we're just going to look around. You're going to peel the Brussels sprout, just the outer leaves on it. If they're a little bit banged up, just get rid of the outer leaf. I'm going to put those over here. And then use your knife, cut off the tip of the Brussels sprout. So I'm going to move it here. So cut it off, and then you're just going to cut it in half. So there it is. Very simple. Here's a pepper. I'm going to take my pepper. I'm going to cut off the tippy top. I'm going to cut off the bottom. I'm going to take my hand, just poke it through. Get rid of all the seeds in here. Just like that. And now we have the pepper. I'm going to take my pepper again and cut it in half, and now we're going to be walking away with pieces like that. And that's what you want. I'm going to take this one, cut it down, and now they're small pieces like that. Now nothing goes to waste, so you can even take the top of this, just cut it around in a circle, and then now you're stuck with this piece of the stem. Discard it and take these guys and just put them in the basket. That's it. Then we got some garlic. We're going in with a garlic. We're going to cut the garlic like this. We're going to cut off the little woody part of the garlic. I'm just going to take my hand and crush it just like that and throw it in. And that's it. Now we'll get all this done, and then we're going to come back here and show you what else is going to go on this dish. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Okay, our oxtails are out of the pressure cooker. Let's show you what to do from here. Take a look at these guys. They're looking right. See all that flavor on them? I mean, they're not exactly tender yet because they have to go into the smoker, but we just saved about 4 hours worth of cook time right now. So you can put these on your smoker. You can take them inside and braise them afterwards to make them soft. But what happens is if you smoke them first, add the flavor first, and then braise them later, all your flavor is going right into the water. So we're going to flavor them first, and then hit them with the smoke. And then this way all your flavor doesn't go into the water. Your flavor is over here. Right here in this broth. And this broth is going to make a beautiful barbecue sauce. So right here we have the base of every barbecue sauce. Every red barbecue sauce anyway. It's a tomato base. We got tomato paste here. We got cumin powder, onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of pepperoncini, molasses, and apple cider vinegar, and honey. Nothing's measured. Then you're going to have to feel this out and go by consistency as well too. Every time I make a barbecue sauce, it's never the same. And I've been making them now for over 30 years and they're never the same. So I'm going to take a little bit of the juice, the broth that came out of those oxtails, and right in with it. You don't want too much of this broth because it's very gamey, and you don't want this to taste gamey. So we're just going to get it stirred up. So all you need is a little bit. Now I'm going to feel it out. Now I'm going to add a little bit more, just a touch more, because it didn't turn too loose. And if it gets too loose on you, what do? We add tomato paste to tighten it up. So the tomato paste is not sweet, but the ketchup is. So you got the sugar in there. So we're going to thicken it up with the tomato paste. Just like if you were making spaghetti, the tomato paste will thicken. So you're doing the same thing with the barbecue sauce. See how thick it's turning already? So now you got this nice, rich, luscious barbecue sauce, right? And look at the color. It's turning a really dark red. Like a dark crimson color. See that? All right, so now that you got that nice and mixed up, garlic powder. Go in with some of that. Onion powder. Peppercini, a touch of that, maybe a little bit more. Cumin powder. We'll go in with that. I'm going to hold back because it's very strong. The vinegar, apple cider vinegar. I'm going to use it all. And I can always tighten it back up. Now don't forget, when you put this on your grill or your smoker, it's got to tighten up. By the time the heat hits it, it's going to tighten up anyway. So you always want to go onto your grill or smoker with it kind of loose, because it's going to tighten up anyway on there. And it's going to brush easily on, instead of having a hard time and have this cake up on there. So you see that? It's coming around the corner already. All right, so now I'm going to give my finger a little taste. Tasting right. Needs to be sweetened. Honey. Nice big glob of that. Make it yours. So all these ingredients, don't take my advice. Use your own taste. I always say make it yours, because what if you don't want it this sweet, or you don't want it that hot? You don't want the peppers in there, or you don't like cumin. So this is why it's always important to always make your own. Now normally I will put this on the stove and heat it up, but I'm not doing that because it's going to go in the smoker for about an hour and a half. That's how long those are going to take to get tender on the smoker, an hour and a half. And by the way, for you guys that don't know what oxtails are, it's the tail of a cow. All right, here's the molasses. I'm going to go in with all the molasses because I just tasted it and I could use some more sweetness. So we'll just go in with all the molasses. Make sure it's a good molasses too. Nice old-fashioned molasses, because you'll get that really old-fashioned flavor in here, and then it's going to get even darker on you. See it? And this is a barbecue sauce that you put together within seconds. And the secret to this entire sauce is this right here. The broth that came out of those oxtails. All right, so we're going to get that stirred up. I'm going to give this another taste. That's amazing. A little bit more garlic powder. I want some more heat, so I'm going in with all the pepper. And that's about it. All right, so now that we got this mixed up, and we're looking right, take a look over here. Here's the oxtails, so I'm gonna swap this out. I'm gonna take my oxtails, I'm gonna take a bowl, and take my oxtail and dip each one right in that barbecue sauce. See that? Just like that. And put it right in here. Now this cuts down on time. You're trying to brush these things on, you never get them brushed. And just lay them all up. All right, I'm gonna finish this up, and then we're gonna meet you on the smoker, and when we come back, we're gonna show you how to finish up those beautiful vegetables. And we're gonna make some beautiful grits, yellow grits. So stick around, don't go anywhere. Let's get them on. All right. I got this wrapped with aluminum foil so I could take off the foil afterwards so I don't get my kitchen counter oily. That's it. We'll meet you back here. 1.5 hours, we'll let them go until they're tender. Don't go anywhere. All right, now that those oxtails are on the smoker, back to these vegetables. Take a look at this mix. We got the cauliflower, the Brussels sprouts. This is everything, the peppers. This is everything we put in here, the garlic. That looks spectacular, doesn't it? Now these are the smoked pork chops I was telling you about. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut these off the bone. So I'm just gonna start here, and I'm gonna get closer to that bone. These are cured and smoked by me. And then we'll leave a link in the description showing you how we cure and smoke our own meats. So for those of you guys that don't know, then I'm gonna take some of this meat and just shave it just like that. But we're keeping that bone, we're gonna cook that too. Let's take our meat, cut it up like that. In just a little pieces. And this way we have our meat nice and cubed up. So this meat is being mixed with onions, which are over here. We're having some prunes in the mix, some sage, and a little bit more garlic. And we're gonna chop this up, and once we get this chopped up, we're gonna meet you onto the cooker and show you how we're gonna get this done. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we're cooking down this pork chop and some sage. That's the only thing that's in here is that pork chop and the sage. So we're bringing some color out of it. And you want to bring the color out of it so you can get the flavor out of it. Now this is being cured just like bacon, so it tastes like bacon, just in a chopped form, and it's not as greasy as bacon. That sage is going to give you a lot of flavor, and we've got avocado oil going on here. So I'm going to get this browned up some more, throw those onions in. After the onions, all those vegetables are going in, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we got our onions in now. We got the red, we got the white, and we're just cooking these down. We're gonna throw a little garlic in, just like that. And we're gonna cook this down. Bring some flavor out of here. Don't be scared to cook your vegetables down. They're gonna need a little help. We're gonna hit them with a little white wine. We're gonna add some beautiful prunes to this inside all that mixture, and it's gonna be one dynamite meal. So definitely, you wanna see this one. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we are cooking down nicely. I'm on high heat. Now those onions did a good job deglazing the bottom of that pan, so I'm going to skip the wine for now. So you can hear that. All right, let's get our veggies in. Now the nice part about this mixture, you don't have to use it all in one night. You could save some. Leave it in your fridge, and you'll have some for another night with no prep work. It's all done in one night. All right. Gotta work with this. And I'm gonna let all this cook down. Doesn't that look nice? And those bones are still doing their job, and they're gonna be 100% edible to be able to eat those. That pork chop was cured, but it was not cooked, so that pork chop was still raw. It was just cured. And we'll leave a link in the description so you can see the curing process of what I did to that pork chop. All right, that's it. We're gonna let this cook down, and then we're gonna meet you back here and throw these guys in. So stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, 1.5 hours in. Whew. And they're looking right. They're looking nice and tender. You see that nice coating on the top here? That's how you know they're nice and tacky. So I'm gonna let them go probably just a little bit more. My fire is almost out, but I'm just gonna smoke them out now. Go inside, put them under the broiler, hit them with some broil, get some nice char on them. We're gonna call it a night. All right, we'll meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so far so good. We're cooking down lovely. Now I left the lid off for these because I don't want these to just steam out and they'll turn to mush, so you don't want to do that. Judge it out. Here are those nice prunes. We're gonna put those in. That pork is the savory, and now we got the sweet. And there it is. Let's just get these guys mixed in. And that's gonna add a beautiful touch of sweetness. And at the end, I might hit these with a little white wine vinegar just to bring up the brightness in here. And that's it. We'll meet you back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we are all done. I'm gonna turn this off, and it's time to bowl up. Take a look at that. Let's just get this into a nice bowl. And look at those nice pork chops in there. See? Some lucky contestant will get a hold of one of those pork chops. There you go. All right, we're gonna finish plating up. And we're gonna meet you back here. Cook some grits. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, the oxtails are off the cooker. We're at the last stop on this train, the broiler and the grits. Let's show you how to get it done. All right, 450 degrees under the broiler until they just get as gold and as crispy as you want them. That's it. Let's cook some grits. All right, so I have my stove on high heat. I'm melting our butter. I'm gonna salt the water. I got those oxtails underneath the broiler, so what I'm gonna do is check on those. I'm gonna bring this to a boil. While that's at a boil, I'll be done with those oxtails. So meet you back here. Let's check on those oxtails. All right, that's it. Look at those guys. I'm gonna let them go about there. I'm gonna let the broiler cool down and then just keep them under the broiler. It's just gonna give a nice even coat to these without that nice crispy coating anymore, because we don't want to hit that with any more heat. It's gonna blacken and it's not gonna taste very good. So back under the broiler, I shut everything off and just let it keep warm. That's it. Let's finish those grits. All right, if you do this right, it should take you 6 to 7 minutes to do this. The water's boiling. I'm gonna start stirring and I'm going in. Well, basically, if you read the box, it should tell you this, but I'm trying to help you guys out a little bit here. The amount of liquid that you have in here should make the amount of grits that you wind up with. So if you fill this up to the top, you'll wind up with a whole pot full of grits. I'm gonna go some more. Look at the color in there. Isn't that color beautiful? Doesn't look like the regular white grits. The hominy grits. But these give a little bit more sweeter of a flavor. Almost close to polenta. These are excellent. All right, I'm gonna keep stirring. Don't walk away. Keep stirring, and you can't lose. When we're done, we'll meet you at the chopping block. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, here we are on the chopping block of season 7. We got barbecued oxtails. We did those on a homemade sauce. Grits, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower. Let's show you what we got. Take a look at these guys. They're looking right. Now that's the way you gotta do barbecued oxtails. Smoked to absolute perfection. Look at these grits. Aren't these pretty? I let these sit for a little bit. I left them loose. They got tight on their own, so you might want to do that. If they're going to sit on the table, they sit for about 10 minutes, and look how tight they are. And look at that cauliflower with the Brussels sprouts. With all that that nice pork chop in there. All right, let's get into it. Let's get this off to the side. I'm gonna bring in a plate. We're plating up on a single plate. I'll get one of these beautiful oxtails aboard. Maybe a couple of these guys. I'll get a smaller one too. These look delicious. All right, I'm gonna get some grits onto the plate. I think I'll park those right there. Grits are funny. You just keep going in the middle when you put them down, and they'll just stop on their own. But don't put too much in there, because they won't stop. Let's get some of these gorgeous vegetables in here. All right. Those nice prunes in here as well too. Those Brussels sprouts, the cauliflower. And this is a hearty dish. And I think I'll leave the pork chop for now. All right, there we go. I'm gonna clean this plate up just a bit, and I feel we need something inside those grits. So what we'll do is we'll put a little color right in those grits, just to add a little pizzazz. All right, let's get into it. I'm gonna try that oxtail. You know, every time I eat an oxtail, I always get that feeling that if I had one last piece of red meat to have, or a choice of red meat, it would probably be oxtails. Flavor in there is tremendous. The texture is spot on. It falls right off the bone. The barbecue sauce that we put on there, that's everything. Without that little bit of stock in there, it gets just lost in the sauce. All right, let's try those grits. The yellow grits are more creamier than the white grits. They're packed with flavor. They almost taste very close to polenta. Polenta is a little bit more on the sweet side, but those yellow grits, they're very bold. They're in your face. You can really taste the cornmeal in them. They have a lot of flavor to them. Unlike the white is very mellow, subtle flavors, but not those. They go perfect with that meat. You need something really strong to hold up to that oxtail meat. That flavor of the oxtail really stands out, so it's a perfect match. Let's try those vegetables. Let's get a little bite of everything in here. This way we can taste a little bit of everything. Wow, this dish screams sweet and savory. You taste that pork chop in there. The bitterness of the Brussels sprouts up against the side of the prunes with the onion is phenomenal. And this dish just pulls through. It's an excellent combination in here. We got a nice melody of peppers in here. All works well, goes along outstanding with this dish. I hope you guys try this one. All right, we're gonna get organized and meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, and there it is. One outstanding way to make barbecued oxtails. We nailed these guys out in just 3 hours. That's pretty quick, and they pack a lot of flavor. Park some yellow grits on the side of those, and those flavors pair perfectly. And threw down with some vegetables. We saved that last one for you. Pork chop, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower, and all the peppers to go along in there. It's a wonderful dish. Like always, we thank you guys. We always enjoy you coming. And until the next time, gotta get that last and final Pitmaster taste there.